If you say you are surrendered, your words are still yours. If you say you haven't surrendered, your words are still yours. Don't you see you are still so much in control? To surrender is to surrender the very center from where your doing or non-doing originates. That does not involve a decision then. That does not involve a method or a process then. When you ask for a method, you see, one thing is certain. You are very open to changing methods. But there is one thing that you are not open to. What is it? You are saying how to surrender. So if I tell you 4 different methods, you will be prepared to probably accept them. Or at least look at them. But there is one thing that you are not prepared to look at, and that is evident from your question. You want to be the agency who surrenders. You are asking, how do I do it? Tell me the various ways in which I do it. So the ways can change, but the doership must rest in me. Now where is the surrender? Surrender then would mean that you are not even the one who surrenders. Surrender would mean then that you are not even the one who surrenders. If you are surrendering, you are still the master and the controller of your surrender. Are you not? Surrender then would mean to let the elements run their course. Surrender then would mean that you let things happen. You don't have to come out and officially pronounce that you are surrendered. There need not be any formal declaration. In fact, it's also pretentious when it happens. Surrender happens almost unconsciously, almost surreptitiously. It happens. It's like love. Do you consciously think about love? Later, way later, do you come to consciously recognize that probably this is called love. The same thing with surrendering. Long after you have really surrendered, would you one day be struck by your situation and then you will say, oh, is this what they call a surrender? I'm not doing a few things anymore. A lot of things are happening through me very differently. Is this what they call surrender? Just like asking someone, hey, is this love? No, that's the right thing. That's the right thing. You don't plan it, you don't organize it. You are not on top of it. You don't say, tonight is when I'm going to fall in love. Do you ever say that? Sounds absurd. Then why do you say that I'm ready to surrender and please tell me how to make it happen?
So it means this is outcome of a certain way of living.
Don't call it outcome, just say it is associated with a certain way of living. When you say it's outcome, you make the living a cause of it. And the cause is always the unknowable. So be very cautious when you attach causality with anything. Nothing is ever the cause. The one and only cause of everything is that. That with a capital T. A few things go together. A few things go together doesn't mean that one is the cause of the other, right? When this session was about to commence, many of you would have walked together into this hall, right? Does that mean that you brought the other with you? You dragged the other in? Were you the cause of the other's presence? It's just that the happenings were simultaneous. That doesn't mean that there was a relation of cause and effect. You getting it? We often do this. We erroneously attach causality to things that are just not the cause. Live rightly. Don't attach a lot of importance to that which you know is temporal. If you are given to memory, if you are attached to experiences, then learn something at least from experiences. Though that is not really the place from where the real learning comes. But at least look at your experiences. If you love to wallow in memories, at least look at your memories objectively. At least don't distort your memories. And that is surrender. Whenever you stop taking your personal opinions, your personal right and wrong seriously, that is surrender. Now that sounds absurdly simple. Nothing else is surrender. Well, I do not like something, but that doesn't matter. Come on, I can still proceed. When I know it to be inconsequential, then I do not care for my tendencies. My tendencies are pushing me in one direction. But I can see that these are just my tendencies, so I know what is the right thing to do. I will not eat even though I am disliking the fact that there is food and I am not eating. Are you getting it? I know my tendency is to eat. Food is available and I am not eating. And I just don't like this. It is spoiling my mood. In fact, it is angering me that there is food and I am not eating it. And yet I do not eat. And now you have surrendered. This is surrender. In such a simple thing. Eating. I will do what is right irrespective of whether I like it or not. My likes and dislikes do not matter. That which is right, that matters. And what is right? That is not a matter of some abstract speculation. Given my limited intelligence, whatever I know to be right, I'll proceed on it. That is surrender. I know that my decisions can never be absolutely right. I know that there will always be scope for improvement. Not only would there be scope for improvement, sometimes there would be the need for outright reversal of my judgments and decisions. Still, I'll honestly proceed on what I have come to see as right with my limited self. Because I have nothing else. What do I have? I have only this limited self. That is all that is available to me right now. So honesty lies in, faith lies in proceeding with total rigor, with complete faith on what you know to be right. Are you getting it? But that should not become a stubbornness with you. You proceed at any given moment on what you know to be right, and because you know that your right and wrong come from your limited self, so you are totally prepared to change, modify, or reverse your decisions at any point in time. Now that requires parallel flexibility and staunchness. On one hand, you are very rigid. You must be very rigid. You must say, if this appears to be right, I am proceeding on it. On the other hand, you must be totally flexible. The moment I see that this is not right, I change course. You have to parallelly walk these two ropes. That's even more difficult than tightrope walking. Do you see this? On one hand, you are totally firm. You are saying, no, nothing else appears to be right, and if this appears to be right, I give it all my energy. And you are also saying that the moment this ceases to appear right, I will no more be attached to it. I will not say, well, this was my decision, how do I reverse it? The moment it ceases to be right, I will change tracks. question comes from you, well, if that means that what appears right to me is tentative, then how do I devote all my energy to it? Well, that is what an honest life is all about. Even as you know that what is in front of you is temporal, you still give it everything. That is called living in the present. Even as you know that the fellow sitting in front of you is just mud and bones, and a very unstable liquid called blood, you still fall in love. That is what is life. And you are in love only when, even in the moment of your warmest embrace, even in the moment of your deepest intimacy, you still know that the one you are holding in your arms is just mud, stone, earth, water and sky. You know that the body will decompose very soon. You know very well that what you are holding in your arms, the skull, is a skull with a little bit of coating and polish. You know that, and still your embrace is very, very warm. Still there is an absolute lack of distance between you and the beloved. You are so intimate that your breaths are mingling with each other. And you know very well that this is nothing. Oxygen and nitrogen. With a little more water vapor right now because both of us are excited. Nothing else is this. You see this? Spirituality is to walk these two together. You very well know who the other is. You very well know who you are. And still, you live like a king. You very well know, what is this body? Come on, what is this body? What is the food that you eat? What is the worth of your opinions? These sands here, they have hundreds of bodies buried under them. Show me one place where men, trees and animals are not lying buried and decaying. Where else is all the petroleum of the world coming from? Where else are all the hydrocarbons coming from? They are coming from decaying organic matter. What do you know? Organic matter is? What is organic matter? It's you and me. Maybe your predecessors, maybe the animals, maybe the jungles. The fuel you use in your car is you and me. Buried. Transformed. You know that. And you still say, I love you, baby. Even as you sit in that very same car that is burning up the fuel, and she sits next to you, you say, of course, of course. Even as I smell your body, I can also smell the petroleum fumes, and I know the two are one. This intoxicating smell from you and that putrid smell from the gas center, they are one. They really are one. Still I love you. Still I love you. That is surrender.
So sir, one line you mentioned here as well, respond relationship rightfully. So when I put myself in between, and suppose I am in group and there is a group where we are discussing. So when I look at Divya, so I have a certain opinion. When I look at Anindita, I have certain opinion. When I look at Rohit sir, I have certain opinion. When I look at Anshu sir, I have certain different opinion. So means these opinions are affecting my decisions as well. I am not saying, I might not be saying, but inside these opinions are motivating me to make a certain decision by which my actions are coming. The outcome of that opinions is reflecting through my actions. So how to respond even having these opinions, because I am not able to stop that opinions that it should not come, because when I am looking at her, I am looking at him, that opinion is coming automatically. So in that situation, how to respond that opinion? In that situation, how to
go by your opinions. You have nothing else to go by, and know that these are just opinions. These are just opinions. You know, people often talk about the voice of the soul. They talk of the voice of the soul as opposed to the voice of the mind or the voice of the opinions. The soul has no definite voice of its own. All that it says is, these are just opinions. These are just opinions. That's the only thing that the soul, the great self or the Atman will ever suggest to you. It never suggests something definite. Let's say 4 of your friends are sitting in front of you and are prescribing you 4 different paths of action. And then there is that old man in your house sitting behind you, just observing, just seeing you talk to your friends. And your friends are full of themselves. Your friends are very certain of themselves. Your friends are adamant that they will convince you to follow their advice. And they are not really acting in malice. They are your well-wishers. So very forcefully, they are suggesting something to you. And you appear impressed. Sometimes by one, sometimes by other. You appear convinced. And every time you appear convinced, what does the old man say? You know what? These are just opinions. The Atman, the truth, is like that old man. He offers you no specific advice. He just tells you that the advice coming to you from these so-called friends is just advice. Do not take that advice to be the truth. The truth is not something definite, and hence it never says something definite. That's the thing about it. It is very vague. Because it is so vague, so we make so many images out of it. Had the truth really been something definite, then we would have remained in some kind of discipline. But the truth offers us all liberty. It's like the vast sky, vague, boundaryless, contourless, mapless. All that the old man says is, before you give yourselves to one of these courses of actions, just remember that these are that is the truth. So don't wait for the right action to emerge from the heart. Whatever your actions are, they will come from the mind only, because that's all you have. The old man is never going to tell you what to do. Let your mind tell you what to do. But behind the mind, let there be the wise counsel of the old man. When the old man is sitting behind you as your real and genuine advisor, then whatever you decide is wonderful, just right for you.
So counseling of that old man won't affect the action of the mind?
Would it or would it not? You tell me. You are just about to fall to an advice, and then at that very moment, the old man, very silently, he whispers, "Dear boy, this is just an advice." Would that change your decision or not? Depends on you. Depends on how keenly you are listening and how much you are attached to the world. All these well-wishers belong to the world. They are in front of your senses, and the old man is behind you. He is behind the senses. So it depends on you. If the world is all that which matters to you, then you will not at all listen to the old man. And also the old man does not give you any doable advice. All that he always keeps muttering is, this too is just an advice, this too is just an opinion, come on, be careful. And if you turn around and ask him, alright old man, I disregard everything that the world is telling me. Now you tell me what you want me to do. He just falls silent. He has nothing specific to tell you.
So, knowing is always happening. But somewhere we accept your words with a certain emotion, which breaks what you are telling me and what I am actually understanding. So, what to do on this?
More on that, I didn't really get it.
See, whatever you are telling is just happening in our life, daily life.
Yes.
But we attach an emotion when we perceiving that. Like if I am going there, there will be a reason or might be a trap. I know this very well, but I attach an emotion on it.
What is that emotion?
Like I love it, or it's actually important, or it will harm
If I do not do
if
it.
I do not go there. So by labeling it or justifying it, there is just difference of emotion. Once if I am seeing it as I want to go there, and it's an urge, it's an acceptance. And the second time, I am labeling it that I am going there because it is important. So this because always labeled in all my actions, all my deeds.
So it's wonderful that you are saying that you do a thing when you see it to be important, right? You're saying, I do not know whether I should go that way or not. Just pause for a while. Just ponder on this word, important. Ask yourself, without any influence upon you, what is important to you? What is it that you really want? And then see whether you are getting it in your current way of living or not.
One escape question and answer is I don't know.
If you do not know, then how do you move even an inch? If you do not know what is important to you, then you could as well stay over in this place for 2000 years. Because you have no notion of what is important to you, right? Then you can't go anyway. If you do not know what is important to you, how do you decide what you want to do? How do you decide? How do you even decide that you are going to continue with what you are doing? So, if you say, I do not know, then you must immediately know that you are lying to yourself. You do have some established notion of what you value, what is important to you. Look at that. Does it really align with what you find important? My suggestion is, see what you hold to be important and see what is or what has become currently important in your life. Do these two align with each other? And if they don't align with each other, then you are being torn apart. If you sit down and introspect, and honestly so, you may say that peace is what is really important to me, alright? So we say peace. Now you look at your current portfolio. Now you see how you are spending your life currently. And then you see what is important to you throughout the day. Is there peace in your current life? Right now, as you live, is peace important to you? And answer this objectively. Answer this without being attached to yourself or biased. So if you see that, really speaking, peace is important to you. But going by the way you are living currently, greed has become important to you. Then you should see the misadjustment, then you should see that there is a contradiction, and this contradiction is your personal hell. You are now living against yourself. Now you have become an enemy to yourself. Now you are doing to yourself that which you do not want to be done to you. Jesus said, do not do to your neighbor what you do not want to be done to yourself. He was placing very high hopes upon humanity. Probably he should have firstly said, do not do to yourself what you do not want to be done to you. The neighbor comes later. We keep on doing to ourselves what we really do not want to be done to us. We keep slaughtering ourselves, and slaughter is a very kind word. We keep giving ourselves slow death. Slaughter is once and for all. So slaughter has a certain finality. Our misery extends in time. It's a continuous torment. From the morning till evening, next evening, next week, next month, next year. Would you do this? Would you write down what is really important to you? And then would you look honestly at every day that passes by and match these two? I say peace is important to me. And then what do I do from morning till evening? Is that aligned with peace? Is that not an honest question to answer? Is my way of living coinciding with that which I really want? That is the only important question in living.
So we are always self-reflecting.
Of course. That is what made the Buddha say that man is his own worst enemy. Man does not need any more enemies. And that is what the Upanishads also say. You are your own enemy and you are your own friend. Remember Amrit Bindu Upanishad?
So when I was reading this text, so what I could receive was that Krishnamurti is basically talking about sensitivity, because he's saying that one is always in relationship and one is always in relationship with objects. By objects I also mean ideas. So one is constantly in a network of relationships, and when you do not accept this fact, you become insensitive. Right now I'm related to my own voice that I'm speaking. It's going inside my head. Everything is happening. When you do not just be open to it, you become insensitive. And this insensitivity creates a conflict. You just get lost in your own world, right? You just get lost, and that creates a problem, a conflict, and also non-understanding of what is happening, and hence suffering. So it was a brilliant reminder to me, because this is what I have myself been going through. That I live in my own head, right? And when somebody says that you are always in relationship, the moment he said relationship, I just looked around. That you are related to the chair you are sitting on. It just, I don't know, it's an awareness, whatever it just brings you out. Just brings you out. And it's so lightening to see that getting out of your own head just simplifies everything. And I think sensitivity is something crucial. When you just see that you have a body, right? You're carrying it. I carried it from Delhi to here, and it is receiving ceaselessly, and those receptions are creating me. So if you're just accepting that, acha ye ho raha hai, but when you don't see this, you just somewhere else in your own head.
And that is so dangerous and foolish, because when something hits your body, then you do not remain somewhere else. You see, as I sit on this chair and my wander off to my La land, why don't I permanently remain there? Now, sitting on this chair, I have not noticed that one of the legs is broken. When I fall down, then I do not remain anymore there. Then I come back to suffer. Why have you returned to suffer? When sitting on this chair, you comfortably strolled away, right? Now when the leg has fallen off, and so have you have come back. For what? To receive all the suffering. Remain in imagination even then. Kindly escape away totally from yourself. Our escapes are so temporary and incomplete. We always come back to suffer. If you can escape away so totally that even when the body falls down, you do not come back anymore, then your escape is most auspicious. But that doesn't happen. Are we together on what I am saying? You are far away, imagining something, doing something, and then you fall down. And what happens to those imaginations? They are gone. You are back to the current situation to suffer. Now, why did you leave that land? Why didn't you stay over there? Why do you just go there to look around and feel and come back? Why don't you gain a proper citizenship? Stay there. And we are such foolish refugees. We return to our native land only when there is a crisis in the native land. Any refugee knows that when there is a crisis, they should go away. But we return when there is suffering.
We don't wish to, we are just pulled
We are just pulled back. We are just
no
pulled
way
back.
out.
Means when we come to know without having any body damage, when we come to know that there is suffering, always there is a suffering, then we won't stall here and there.
But don't predict that. There is no reason to speculate. What is happening is enough. You do not require any more information or imagination.
Is it that the leg got broken because you went to the Dana land?
That too may happen. But often the broken leg may have nothing to do with you or your actions. But what is certain is that you do not remain away all the time. Spirituality means either to be here permanently or to be away permanently, and these two are one. We suffer because we are sometimes here and sometimes there. We live in the world of facts, but we prefer to be in the world of imaginations. And that is why we live in conflict.
So there's a friend who tries to formulate this problematic in this way. He says, one has to be parallelly in the abstract and in the concrete, because you also need to take care of these things. But when you are just in the concrete, there is no difference between the so-called worldly man and you. So you have to also be thoughtful, contemplative, and yet be this.
You know what? What does that mean? To be parallelly in the abstract and in the concrete. You cannot be in the abstract. You have to be fully in the concrete. It is just that the concrete rests upon the abstract. So you don't have to try to go to the abstract. If you are fully in the concrete, then you see that the abstract is the foundation of the concrete. The formless is the foundation of all forms. Is that not what it means? That the abstract is the foundation of the concrete? All sakar comes from nirakar. So you don't have to try to live in the nirakar. You live in the sakar only. And you live fully here. You don't have to try to search for God somewhere else. And remember that whenever you imagine, you are imagining nothing else but God. And what do I mean by God? Something important. Whenever you imagine something, don't you imagine something important? And were it not important to you, would you still imagine? So whenever you are imagining, you are actually imagining God. You might be imagining a woman or a new car or a spaceship or money or anything. But whatever you are imagining stands as a proxy for God. You don't have to go into the abstract. You don't have to wander away to any other place. Live fully in the concrete. The concrete is situated in the abstract. The concrete is floating in the abstract. The concrete is floating without a foundation. The abstract is the foundation. Non-duality is the mother of all dualities. Live fully in the duality and you are living a non-dual life. When you say parallelly in this and that is wonderful. But just be warned that may also create a hypocritical life, a multi-layered life, a divided life, a life in which there are two sections, one concrete and the other abstract. So you may then be a God denier in your working hours because you belong to some kind of intellectual ideology. And then after your working hours, you rush straight to the temple. And then you say, you know what, civil engineer in the day, devotee in the night, concrete in the day, literally concrete, concrete in the day and abstract in the night.
So you use the word fully right now, and Smriti has been using the word fully, to live fully. What exactly is
to live from fullness? Living fully does not mean that you have to do this, that and do more. That way, nothing is ever full. There is always something more left. And that is also a very misunderstood and misused adage. Living fully. Living fully can as well become a metaphor for a consumptive life. I am living fully. And what do you mean by that? I have 5 girlfriends, 10 cars. I eat to my heart's content, or rather my stomach's content. I keep on finding more and more places to travel to, so I just doze off when I reach there. This is then called living fully. Let's party a little more. Let's earn a little more. Let's spend a little more. Let's consume a little more. No. Living fully means live from fullness. Live from a point of contentment. It's alright. When you begin from there, it's alright. Then, whatever you do is called living fully. Living from fullness. At the beginning, there is contentment. Now you proceed to do whatever you want to do. So my stomach is full. Now show me what's on the menu. Yeah, that's how you enter the restaurant. That is only a wise way of eating. My stomach is full. Now show me what's on the menu. It's not as if I'm desperate to meet anybody. Still, what's the harm in dating? That's called living fully. Because you are already full even as you dress yourself up and proceed to date. Getting it? It's not as if knowledge would redeem me. I am full even without knowledge. But what's the harm in getting a little more knowledge? Now you are living fully. Now you are not desperate for knowledge. Now knowledge is just another thing. Alright, fine. If it is there, wonderful. If it's not there, okay.
So that what it shows is I don't love myself. And to love myself actually, it shows like harm.
We emulate others. We look at ourselves just as others look at us. That's the thing between man and God. God created man in his own image, so says the Bible. But man creates himself in man's image. God created man in God's image. But man creates man in man's image. So we look at ourselves as others look at us. And if we have been surrounded by a lot of people who have not loved us, then we stop loving ourselves. We tell ourselves, I am lovable only if others love me. If others don't love me, I won't love me either. You're getting this? So kids who then receive a lot of love since birth, since childhood, end up being more comfortable with themselves. And kids who have been brought up in a little less fortunate environment end up being critical of themselves, being skeptical of themselves, always doubtful, always uncomfortable beneath their skin, always uncomfortable with their face, with their voice, with their personality. We don't love ourselves because we don't do anything anyway. What do? We just emulate. We just copy. If you love me, then I feel that I am worth loving. I see that nobody loves me. Surely there is nothing in me that can be loved. That's what we do.
See how disempowering that is?
Yeah.
That the value of self-worth in the hands of other people, it's completely disempowering and it causes a lot of conflict and confusion. I'll give a very simple example. I used to come home from work with my friends. We'd come back from work together, back to the apartment, and they'd always eat after work as soon as we get back to the apartment. And they used to make fun of me because they'd ask me, Jamie, what do you want to eat? And I'd go, oh, well, I don't know, I could never decide what to eat. One of them's getting some burgers, one's getting some fish and chips, I'm always confused, I'm not sure what to eat. And it became very, very simple. I eventually just paused, and it came clear, the old man, you're not hungry. Simple as that. I'm not hungry. I'm actually not hungry when I get home from work. So I said, no, I'm not going to eat. No more questioning in my head, doubting in my head, being annoyed at my friends laughing at me, having to eat food when I'm not hungry at all, engaging conversation about things I'm not interested in when I want to relax after work. It became very, very simple. I wasn't hungry, and sure enough, 20 minutes, half an hour later, when the time was for me to eat, I just knew what I wanted to eat. I'd get up and make my food and eat it perfectly, smoothly, no problems. But the great thing was, there was no half an hour of questioning in my head what I want to eat, my friends are putting pressure on me and that. I could actually, for that half an hour, have it back for me to do what I wanted to do in that time, or what it felt appropriate to do in that time. It wasn't even a decision needed to be made, I just did what I needed to do in that time. But I'm not walking around beating myself up in my head about what I should do, shouldn't do, what do they think about me. Very, very simple. But it took the honest looking at very simple. I'm not hungry. So why am I spending this time trying to figure out an answer to something that's not even applicable to me? It's because I'm putting my value of self-worth in their hands. I'm letting them define my own life. That's really what it comes down to. That's what I meant about the surrender thing. It's not some grateful act we're looking at here. It's just simply looking at what is it that I honestly am feeling, what's going on here. I'm just letting that arise without trying to alter it or change it because of pressures from outside of myself.
Well, that's quite beautiful. You know what this thing, not hungry, symbolizes here? It symbolizes fullness. I'm not desperate. I don't want any of the 4 options that you are presenting to me. I'm full. You understand what full means? Not hungry. So I'm not really craving to accept any of the options that you are suggesting to me. You are suggesting to me I'm clever. You are suggesting to me I'm an idiot. You are suggesting to me I'm beautiful. You are suggesting to me I'm coarse. None of those options, because I'm not hungry for your opinions. Are you getting what he's saying? Huh? The thing goes beyond food and beyond evenings. It extends to the entire life. I'm not hungry for what you say to me or about me. And that is not the same as being contemptuous of the other.
And I can tell my friends, for example, just very simple here, right? We use this analogy. I can tell my friends no, and if 5 minutes later they're still ordering food and I feel I want to eat, I know what I want to eat, I'll place the order. Guys, sorry, I'm actually hungry, I'm going to get this as well. It's no holding on to what are they going to think of me because I've changed my mind now, or whatever that may be, however you want to put it. Very, very simple stuff. And the more honest we are with this, you find that the relationships actually improve. Because I can now not hold on to this tension and annoyance of my friends laughing at me. I can actually be loose about it and enjoy my time with them. I'm not thinking in my head, Johnny told me to order the burger, and I'm gonna, you get what I'm saying? It's can actually, there's no residue to what's being done. Just feels right within me, no residue, cool. Now I don't have to hold on to my own bull crap in my head, projecting onto them now.
Do you see how that is also related to the flexibility thing we talked about? When you are rooted in yourself, then you get total flexibility to change your decisions. And that is not the same as being whimsical. That is not the same as being fickle-minded. My system, my being, told me I didn't need to eat. I said I don't need to eat. And just 5 minutes later, if the system signals that there is a need to eat, why should I be apologetic about it? Why should I then feel that they will taunt me upon changing my mind so soon?
But you said if one time I'm very fixed and other time I'm very flexible.
Fixed to my roots, I am otherwise totally flexible. Like a tree whose roots are firmly entrenched in the earth and the leaves are free to dance in the air. Are you getting it? So total freedom, a lot of flexibility for the leaves because the tree is firmly rooted.
But how does one come to know when it is flexible and when it is fickleness?
One does not have to know all these things. Remember the conversation I had with Amit. Whenever you say that, how does one come to know, and the importance of knowledge and the importance of the method, how, that is just a thing in security, another exercise in security. The thing is, one always knows. Whenever you ask how does one come to know, you are assuming that that knowledge is evasive, that knowledge eludes you. It does not. You know, but something else becomes a priority. Come on, when your friends pressurize you to eat something, and they don't really overtly pressurize, it's always a little subtle. Don't you really know that you are not hungry? When you go to a friend's place and he says, come on, I insist, have this little piece of cake. Especially in India. When you go to a place and that cake becomes a symbol of love. Even as you accept it, even as you bring it to your mouth, don't you know that you don't need it? But something else becomes a priority. What is that something else? Maintaining a loose relationship. Maintaining a relationship that really doesn't deserve to be maintained in that way. So the question, how do I know, is not really a right question. This question is again from that same Genesis that Krishnamurti talked about. Our assumption that we know the problem. Your assumption is that the problem is that you do not know. The problem is not that you do not know. The problem is that you know it and yet you are wedded to something else.
You know it and yet you are clinging to
something else.
So it means the one means I must have the guts to say no at that time. Or I should accept that no, I don't want it, means I don't want it. If I want it, I
anyway feel like saying no, and you anyway know when to say yes. The question is, why are other things so important? Why must it require guts to live life? I'm asking you, why must it require guts to live life? Why can't life be lived simply? Why can't no be a simple, non-violent refusal? Why must all refusals sound like a contempt heaped on the other? It is as if somebody is blowing the war trumpet. You say no, and the trumpet is going in the background. And the other one is saying, how dare you say no? It is not a no to the piece of cake, it is a no to the relationship. Why must you require guts?
When you
You
already
remember
assume
that?
it's a problem. When you already assume it's a problem.
Of course. You remember that video, Sahas nahi sahajta. You don't require courage, you just require to be yourself. You just require truth. Not sahas, not courage. Instead, sahajta, spontaneity, simplicity.
We had the example together today at the water at the beach. Yeah, I came down to the beach. I was standing by the water. I wasn't interested in getting in the water at this stage, and you asked me multiple times, come in, splashing water, and come in. And I said, look, sir, please stop trying to impose your preferences here. I prefer not to get in the water at this stage. I'll get in when I'm ready. And sure enough, 5 minutes later, I got in the water. Now, in this day, did you feel malice from me at all?
He's thinking so many.
Come on, man, really. To myself, looking back on it now, in no way was I feeling any malice or anything like that. I just simply was going to get into the water at my time, and I wasn't interested in engaging conversation further about you continually asking me to come in the water. It was simple. And 5 minutes later, I'm in the water with you. We're swimming together, having some fun. That's what it's looking at. In my head, there's no decision-making process going on. If I tell him that I'm not going to get in the water, he might get offended and not like me or something like that. It's just, simple. Is that, you see, an example there?
This happened with me as well. So I was laying down there in the grass with the rigging, and Neha ma'am came to me, let's play badminton. So for some time I was thinking that what should I say? I said, ma'am, I would a bit lay down, and he said, how much time will it take? I just come walk in 20 minutes, but I had no such intentions to. But I couldn't say that I don't want to play badminton at all. I want to just stay here. But then the lights came. 20 minutes I'm coming. We never played badminton.
You see, how much do we lie out of so-called good intentions? In fact, I wonder whether there is ever any other intention behind lying. The intention probably is always, at least moralistically good. Either you don't want to offend the other, or you don't think that the other is capable of handling the information. You don't want to hurt the other really. Or you think that the other will not be able to really appreciate what you are saying. He won't understand, so you can't tell him the truth.
Does it really save the relationship? This line.
Is there a relationship at all? Relationship that needs to be saved all the time. What kind of relationship is that? We have this saying in the East. लाल कहे लाल मिर्जाई हैं तो जीवे क्या दिल करें. There is a child that is born, and it's born quite weak. The mother calls the child Lal. Lal is a word we use in affection for a son. Lal, Lal, Lal. Now the child is so disposed that the moment it hears the word Lal, it shrivels. It starts appearing even more diseased. The mother is saying Lala. And the moment she says Lala, the child is gone, finished. So the saying says that if your son is such that the moment you call him Lal, he withers down. withers down, मुरझा जाता है, तो जीवा क्या करें? How long is he anyway going to live? So what is the point in saving such a relationship where you cannot even call the right name, where you have to lie all the time? How long can you keep somebody on the ventilator? One day you will be exhausted.